The Nintendo Switch Virtual Boy peripheral is here, and surprisingly it's been selling like hotcakes, which is something that the original failed to do. I've got my hands on both the plastic version and the cardboard variant, and I'm going to share my thoughts on both of them and tell you whether or not I think this system is worth purchasing. The Virtual Boy itself comes packaged in a nice compact red box, but well packaged for protection as well, so you don't have to worry about getting damaged in the post, which is important because my delivery had some unexpected issues, but the Virtual Boy inside was perfectly fine. Anyway, if you want to switch to, the setup is really simple. All you have to do is remove the headset like so, and grab the legs like so, and click into place. There's a little bit of a grabber here, so with the legs facing away from you, you just click like this and sorted. Aside from having to adjust the angle to suit your viewing pleasure, you're pretty much good to go. Playing on the Switch 1 requires a little bit of work. When you get it, as you'll see, it comes with a Nintendo Switch 2 attachment, which is a tiny bit deeper than this one, as you might be able to see. How to change it? All you need is a Phillips head screwdriver and simply undo the screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You take it off and replace with a new one and replace the screws. Regardless of the system you're playing on, inserting your console works exactly the same. At the front, you'll notice that you can lift it up right here, so pulling both of these will open up the top. With your Nintendo Switch in hand, so here's my trusty Nintendo Switch OLED, you can take off the Joy-Cons and plug it right inside this gap here, like so. Then you can close the top when you're done and you're ready to play. I thought my OLED would be incompatible because it's a bit of a wide boy, but as you can see it slips in with no issue whatsoever. One thing to notice is that this top can be a little bit stiff to open, so I like to leave it like this and not close completely. That way I can open and close it without any issues. So if I have to remove the console to change games to another VR game, for example, which I'll go into later, or just remove the console when I'm done, it's a little bit easier. Overall, this is a rather impressive piece of kit. It looks and feels really authentic. It's very faithful to the original, and there's various bits of plastic around here which represent actual mechanisms from the original. Like if you look underneath, there's a slot for the controller, an extension cable, and on the other side we have even a volume switch. None of it works, none of it moves around, which is unfortunate, as I'd like to be able to just like click these little things and turn the little knobs just to make it feel like the original device. However, it's not really a deal breaker either, but I appreciate it at the very least. One thing that does move though at the front is these red lenses. I don't know if you can see it really well in the video, but by squeezing it at the sides, you can pull this out. And behind, you just have normal lenses. The thing is, this red filter does seem a little bit superfluous because the games on the Virtual Boy NSO, they're actually all in red anyway, so it feels a little bit superfluous. Maybe when they add the colour changing function that they're planning to do in the future, then this will become useful and actually have a purpose, but for the moment it seems more aesthetic rather than anything. With regards to the build quality of the machine, there's very little to really criticize. It's very sturdy and built to last, with the exception of this foam. Like, I often find that when you take out the red filter, it seems to come out of place, which honestly isn't a massive deal and it's very easy to stick back. However, considering the price tag of this thing, you'd have thought there'd be some better way to fix it in place. As for the games themselves, you'll be mostly playing them using the Virtual Boy's NSO service. Unlike some of their other games, like Mario Kart Live, for example, or even the Labo entries, these don't just come with the accessory. You actually have to pay an additional subscription, which means that if you stop paying for that subscription, you lose access to the games. Now, this feels very anti-consumer, I'm not going to lie, from Nintendo. And there's no reason they couldn't have just bundled this thing with a cartridge containing all the games, or even a download code for the titles. It seems like they're wanting to just squeeze the customer for like every penny they have, and it does leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. Anyway, accessing the games and playing the games is rather simple. So, as you can see, we've got the loading screen here. Oh, press A to start. That's my bad. So as soon as it loads into virtual reality, which once you slot in, you're all ready to go. You won't be able to see it with the camera. Just trying to see if I can angle it a little bit so you can see inside, but you probably can. But either way, you go into the traditional NSO launch screen with the list of games, and you click on it, you play. All solid. The list of games is unfortunately complete, which is kind of strange considering just how small the the library is anyway. But there's 7 games at the moment. There's Galactic Pinball, Teleroboxer, Red Alarm, there's Wario Land, 3D Tetris, Golf, and a Japanese game called The Mansion of Innsmouth. And there'll be more to come in the future, including some unreleased titles. Stay tuned, because we are going to be reviewing all of the games on the site, both the present ones and the ones that come in the future. So the quality of the games themselves you can find out elsewhere. It's also worth noting that aside from the Virtual Boy games, you can actually use it to play games that are compatible with VR Labo too. So the problem is that when you play the Virtual Boy, you're playing from a static position. So unlike the Labo, where you have a headset like this and the various peripheral, normally with Labo you would move around and you can see things, you can do things from 360 degrees. But the Virtual Boy is played from a static position, so you can't really move it around. So even though there aren't that many VR compatible games on the Switch, the list of ones that are actually playable reduces even more. I'm going to be putting together a list of titles that do actually work well with this, because there are some, and even though it is a small list, it's certainly welcome. Right, now that I've talked about the main thing, let's talk about this bloody thing. This is the cardboard variant. So here we go. It's a lot cheaper, and as you can see, it's basically a fancy version of this. I mean, if you look at them, they look almost identical, apart from, you know, the Virtual Boy pan, which I will admit does actually look really nice. Like, you've got all the bits and pieces from the top here. The main difference, though, is if you look at the side and compare them side on, the Virtual Boy one is deeper, which means that you can place your Switch 2 inside and play Labo VR compatible games, which is brilliant. However, this is a mixed blessing, because even though you can play with a higher resolution of the Switch 2 and take advantage of that, like brilliant games like Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, you can play on this with a higher resolution than ever before. But it does make the original Switch a lot harder to place. if we reclaim our Switch from here, so this is the original Switch, but the OLED variant. As you can see, I'm going to have to worry about how to place it from a horizontal perspective, but also vertically too. This means that finding the sweet spot where the VR looks just right can be quite tough. And even though the visuals sort of look fine inside when you're looking, regardless of where you put, my eyes still went a little bit funny. It's like they could realize that something is not quite right here. It's not ideal, but obviously if you do have a Switch 1, you have this thing. If you have a Switch 2, you can use this. But in reality, this is more for the other VR stuff, because obviously with this one, you can still move around in a 360 angle, just like you could before with the others. But if you're wanting to play Virtual Boy games, really, this is the thing you need. You need the main peripheral. The other one just doesn't cut it at all. It's not really worth it. However, this one is great. Great piece of kit. It's very faithful to the original, so long as you can stomach the price tag of the actual thing, plus the price of the subscription service, I'd say it's definitely worth picking up. We have another review on the site that goes into similar detail, but some different things on there, which you may want to check out. And as I say, we'll be reviewing the launch lineup of games for this, as well as subsequent releases as and when they release. So stay tuned to the Elite Institute's YouTube channel and the main page if you want reviews of those. Right, thanks a lot for joining, and let me know down in the comments if you actually managed to pick up one of these things and what you think about it. See you in the next video.